This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Good evening and welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry Weekend Preview. We're back with a bang tonight with the best of the best. We've got the best three panellists we can give you for this weekend's action. And it's brought to you by Lakes Gin from Cumbria. 46% proof there for the system bet. And joining me tonight is John Lang. Good evening, John.
When does the flat start?
Yeah, absolutely. I concur. Quentin Franks.
Evening, Lee.
Good evening, Quentin. I hope you've got some more weather bangers for us. And last but not least, and certainly not least, is the Naps King from last year, Andy Richmond.
The failing Naps King this year.
we don't talk about that. It's like carpet and brush.
No, I'll keep the crown on. No, nice to be back and welcome back and belated happy birthday to our leader.
Yes, the big bullseye Jimbo in 5 it's the bones were creaking.
Look at what you could have won.
Yeah, that's how I feel every day.
That's what Rishi comes out with, didn't he? With his with the Northern Ireland thing now with Brexit. Look what you could have won.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's an astonishing statement from the former Chancellor of the Exchequer regarding Northern Ireland. Right. Anyway, we've got an action-packed show. It's an ITV bonanza. They've got 9 races on the telly box from Kelso and Newbury, and the very aptly named Grimthorpe at Doncaster is also thrown in there for proceedings as well. So, right, without further ado, it's the best bets round. It's the 1, 2, 3 pointers. This is where we give our best of the weekend and hopefully get you on your way to some silver and gold. Right, I'm going to start with you, Andy, because I know I've got a feeling yours will be a jumps bet.
I didn't know that. Having said that, I've been in good form on the all-weather of late, even back in Count Otto at Lingfield today.
Oh, the Lingfield, the Lingfield specialist.
And that's a real bonus, that one. Right, we're going to go for the being a veteran myself.
Oh no.
Veterans Handicap Hurdle, the seniors handicap.
Oh
hurdle,
no.
The 210 at Newbury. I just think this Darganini, I think that's how you say it, he's got to give weight all around for the burgeoning yard of Harry Derham. The horse used to be trained by his uncle, didn't it?
It did.
Nichols fell on his chase debut for Derham, then gagged up last time out, which it went up £8 for. These 8-year-olds, they have won precisely every one of these renewals bar one. I don't really like the other 8-year-olds in it, one of which is JBY, which I think is running over too short a trip and probably have the whole race having its head pushed off. But Darganini won quite nicely last time out. I think I'll have a little one-pointer on Darganini to kick us off in the seniors handicap hurdle in the 210 at Newbury.
Good stuff. 7-2, bet 365. Sort of like the reason, Andy. We'll come on to that race later in further detail. But Andy kicks us off with Darganini for the nepotism bet. Harry Durham getting the horse from his uncle in Paul.
Plenty of that in racing.
Yes, we've covered that before. Quentin Franks.
After time in 90 pokes on Betfair winning, Tony Calvin would be proud, Andy.
It's Tony Ansell game by the bollocks.
All weather in England, and England's tough pickings tomorrow, to be honest. I'm going to the desert and I'll gather a bet in the Jeb Latter. Horse in question I want on side is Real World. 11-4 seems overpriced, and I'd have him in as favourite. Unbeaten on turf until we ran into Baid at Newbury in the lock-ins last year. Ran as well as could have been expected. Again in the Queen Anne, ran into Baid, massive on the clock. I kind of feel we've been put in second favourite purely because of Syed Binsur's comments. He said he's got him 85%. He's been gelded. I think the old turbo diesel will be in for this. You've got Master of the Seas as the jolly. I'd have him the other way round in the market. He kind of scrambled home against Chalier. Chalier had a trouble package in the race. Real World's just a step ahead of Master of the Seas here. Valiant Prince isn't good enough on my numbers. Kind of made Real World 7-4-ish, give or take. 1 point win, 11-4.
Yeah, that's 11-4 available. That's the 345 at Maidan for you chaps that are unfamiliar with the desert racing out there. Obviously, it's a great card at Maidan on Saturday, and Quentin's, that's with Ladbrokes and Coral, by the way, the 11-4. So Quentin gives us a bit of sport there. Amazing that sort of Maidan, in a way, I know it's jump season, but doesn't get any more like terrestrial TV coverage for races of this standard. I'm amazed they haven't put, say, at least the flagship race on at Maidan on say terrestrial ITV. But it's jump season, I get it. But then you can't use that as an excuse, chaps, because look what they do in the summer. They put the summer plate on at Market Raisin. You know, that spoils all the flat fare. Anyway. But
one of those horses in blue winning. Everyone has a bone up against Willie Mullins running about 10 in a race. Then you've got the Godolphin running about 10 in one race in different cap colours.
Yeah, they can stick the carrots in out there as well. They get the added bonus of sticking what they want in. I mean, who's the stewards out there? What are the stewards going to say to Sheikh Moore? You know?
Where's your fucking daughter?
Anyway, Real World for Quentin kicks us off with a 1.11-4. Cheers, mate. We'll go to Jonas Lang. You are itching to get going, John.
And just 350 Doncaster.
Ooh.
Snipe.
Yes.
Might be about to fulfil some promise at last, I think. The last run was a big step in the right direction. I think there's still some scope for improvement. Price is reasonable. Traction suits. Not a lot to dislike at the price. 1 point win.
Very, very, very short summary from John there. But remember the 29th of November, John? Quentin knows about this because I had my bollocks on Snipe that day. He was hacking round. He would have pissed up. And the winner of the race...
I remember about it now.
The winner of the race was Doc Pickme. And Doc Pickme has since won 125. Now he's rated 131. So, listen, that is strong form. He's off the same mark. He looked very lazy last time in front. Ignore the form last time anyway, because he had to make the run in slow pace, blah, blah, blah. He's very well in his Snipe. Bridget stopped this horse, absolutely stopped it dead at Ludlow. Watch it, folks. I think John's a very good bet here. I think Skelton could be in for a big day Saturday, and we'll get onto that later. So, John, thank you for that 1 point win at 4-1 with Paddy's and Betfair. Okay, my 1 point win goes at Kelso in the 150 race. That is the Morebattle. It's a good race. This nice race. So there's no certainties or anything like that. But a horse I like very much in here. I had a very good bet on last time. It was a horse called Dear Mark, trained by Sam Thomas. And this horse ran at Hereford the time before its last win, and he got to the front too soon, did Sam. Way too soon. And he said that in the quotes after it won last time at Kempton when I backed it. And that was the thing for me. The key is not to hit the front too soon. He's a very powerful traveller. He beat a good one of Paul Nicholls in a bumper called Lallygag that's in the 130s. Now, I think this is a 135 hurdler. This is 125. £10 might not be enough in a race like this. It's a very competitive race, so I'm not saying there's any certainties. But Dear Mark is a horse going places. He has a good turn of foot, and I think that could be crucial in a race where you've got basically a lot of horses that, like to race handy, kind of get on with it. And this horse could just sit and travel and then pounce on the running, hopefully at the right time. And I do think the price of 8-1 represents a nice bit of juicy value. That's with Ladbrokes, Coral, Paddy's and Betfair. 1 point win for me on the nose, Dear Mark, to finish the round. Okay. John, I'll swing it round back to you for the 2-pointer.
6 o'clock at Wolves. I'm not even sure how you say this bloody thing. Leo Yak La.
This is how we pronounce icy, isn't it? Like Gearoid Norris, Garage Norris, Garage Norris.
Yeah, just call this Leo Garage. I mean, these races are shit, to be perfectly honest.
Yes.
But I think if you do a quick count up and you find a leg in each corner and a reasonable bit of form for the grade, you're in business because you're up against shit. and this basically is up against shit. So even with the £7 penalty in the saddle, I'm quite happy to rock along with this because I don't think it's got anything to beat. 2 points win.
Lovely. So Loch.
Yeah. That one.
That sounds like a bit Klingon, doesn't it? Like Loch Gach La. You know, if you watch Star Trekky fans,
It sounds fucking Welsh, and we don't like them either.
11-4 with Paddy's and Betfair for John in one of the worst races probably ever staged. 5-2. No, 11-4. Yes, sorry, Paddy's Betfair. And also,
races ever staged at Wolveshaven.
Yes, yeah. By the way, not fair play to Wolves. 4 bags for the winner. It's not bad. It's
not as bad as that race at Exeter the other week. That Novice Hurdle. God, Jesus, that was last Friday. I think 4:15. Oh, it was only one of them with a rating. I think they'd won one race between about 60 races. Absolute horror of a race.
Yeah. Well, John's is 0 from 23. So John's open. This is 1 from 24.
This is a big night for this one.
Right. So 11-4 for John for his 2-pointer in the race from hell. He likes putting us all through a race from hell. Quentin, can you back John up on that? What have you got for your 2-pointer?
My 2-pointer comes in the 1830 at Wolverhampton, Lee. It was actually going to be one of my horses to follow for the season. Ooh. Landlord to the Stars. Sadly for listeners, they landed a touch on 17th of February, not getting, I think 14s into about 4-1. He caught my eye throughout last season, just the size of him, to be honest. He needed a bit of time. They duly gave him 80 days off and fairly scooted up off a mark of 53. Kind of feel we've been putting at 9-4 purely because the time was poor. Did well to clear away from steady fractions, more towards the far side of the track at Southall. From a physical, he's got a lot more to come. He's going to be 65 plus in time. You kind of look at the opposition, all done. The handicap has got him. Sparks Fly put in some decent back end sectionals last time, but it's the drawn 11. Leona does too much wrong. Faisal's maybe got a little bit of scope from a physical and racing point of view, and the rest they seem to be making up the numbers. 9-4 looks a bit big to me, and 2 points win.
9-4 with Paddy's and Betfair. Landlord to the Stars. I agree with you, Quentin. He did win very nicely last time. I've just watched the replay while you were giving your monologue there, and I agree. I think there's a lot more to come from that. Nice size of horse, like you say. Yeah, nothing not to like about that apart from the pilot, Dougie Costello.
Can't have it all, can you?
You can't have the. I know, just when you want the pilot, there you go. But not James Evans uses him all the time. That's why that sprinter of his hasn't won as many as it should have. You know, the one that in black colours.
Call me Pete. Yeah, I think I'd done it early in November or something like that thing.
We've all backed that off £15 lower when Dougie's got it beat. You know what I mean? It's the way of the world. So Landlord to the Stars for Quentin at 9-4 for the 2-pointer. Coming to me next before we go to Andy to finish off the round. This goes in the 3 o'clock at Kelso, and I think it's a fairly good thing of Dan Skelton's. I think Santos Blue, despite the £12 hike, is a very well handicapped horse still. Dan Skelton's very shrewd. I mean, the nail to the floor runs in novice hurdles. The horse came out and won at Wetherby beating Sporting Mike under the first-time tongue strap. Stepped forward again with what I thought was a pretty incredible run last time at Chepstow when No Tonic had quite an easy time on the front end and got absolutely blitzed by this down the straight from a rather uncompromising position at the top of the straight. That's why he went double his odds in running, because basically probably the in-running brigade thought he had no chance of making the deficit from where he was. Well, he put that to the bed and won easily. Now, this is a rising class, which is why he's not my best bet this weekend, but I do think he's going to be better than this. And it's a race where a lot of horses in this have already won, gone up in the weights, so it wouldn't be the strongest of 0 to 145s. In fact, the top weight in the race is only 137. It's 10 years old. So it's not the strongest of races, even though it is a class hike. I do think this horse is very capable of going in again. And I'd be surprised if he isn't thereabouts, really, or at least winning. So 7-2, I think, is very fair. That's with the Port Vale outfit. So I'm very keen on Santos Blue. That's my 2 points win on the nose. Andy Richmond, can you cope with John's phone?
I can always cope with that. There must be somebody ringing to get out of the cellar.
Yeah, that's takeaway. That's takeaway ringing, saying it's delayed. Okay. The Indian.
Or the dog ringing the doorbell to be let in or something like that. It's an intelligent dog. Just to come back on Santos Blue, that was my 4th on the list today, so it was a sort of semi-clax, and I nearly put him in. Do agree with you. Rider Ben Sutton, very, very good. Better rider than his old man who actually owns that horse. But that race you referred to at Chepstow last time out, he actually started on BetVictor in the morning at a ridiculous price. I think he was something like 8-9 to 1. I remember thinking that's just out of kilter, and he did. Picked him up well, and no tonics run well since. So can grow him with that. My 2-pointer, going back to Doncaster. Also been following for a long time, and I thought I was going to get a win out of him last time out, which is Galahad Threepwood. Picked this one up when it was 5th of 19 at Cheltenham way back in November. He's run 3 times since then, been 2nd, 4th, and then unseated his rider at Doncaster last time out. When coming to win his race, I thought certainly would have been the winner's main threat last time out. Form overall looks pretty strong. I think I've got to give him one last go. The race sets up quite nicely for him. I still think he's pretty well handicapped. Yard have been in decent form all year, Ben Pauling's yard. And I think at the price he is in a fairly weak race, if he's around sort of 3-1, 7-2, couple of points on Galahad Threepwood to finally get the money back from last time out at Doncaster.
No, possibly good choice that. That landed the race to Neville Ender. Didn't he?
Even more painful, that, isn't it?
Yeah, good old Neville sticking it up everyone again.
Goodbye, who had its head pushed off from the start as usual and still managed to. Actually, it travelled all right that time, but the race wasn't the greatest. But I still think it was. I still think he was coming to win that race, to be honest with you. But
this is I agree. This is not a good race, Andy, either. So
no,
I think
isn't a good race. I mean, this is. I'm possibly drinking in the last chance saloon here, but I give him, based on his 5th of 19 at Cheltenham back in, of course, November. That was a pretty decent run on that occasion. He didn't have the race run to suit there. There was some decent horses in and around him on that occasion. The form hasn't really worked out. 10th one next time out, Rath McNee. But I think it's a weak race. Couple of points on the wonderfully named Galahad Threepwood.
5-2 with Port Vale for Andy to finish the round off. Good stuff, chaps. Quentin Franks, this is the drum roll for your big one. What is it?
Big one comes in probably the best race of the day, to be honest. 15:06 at Lingfield. Listed race for 3-year-olds. I made Iconic Moment a fair bit shorter than 2 to 1, and he's my 3-point bet for the day. Just like him, really, really like him as a type. Debut, he caught the eye in the paddock, carrying condition, but did well to win, despite showing obvious signs of greenness under Tom Quealy. Followed that up, I think it's two weeks afterwards, just hands and heels by Neil Callan, travelled through the race like a good horse. Second hasn't came out of the race, and second hasn't came out of the race, but the third won a novice at Kempton in a decent time. James Tate, after the race, nominated this. He said this was the aim, so I'm pretty sure it'll be cherry ripe after 116 days. He's still got some filling out to do. No doubt the break would have helped him. And he got the main market rivals. They're smaller models. They're very much now models. I can just see him progressing past them, in all honesty. Don't particularly like Alpha Catcher on the all-weather. He kind of has an awkward way about going about him. Blinkers may well aid him, but yeah, just not really one for me. Minnetonka's quite a small model and was well positioned last year, similar to Hope, and should have been a ring. The form ties in with Alpha Capture, but no, just not for me. Like, I made Iconic Moment kind of like 5 to 4. 2 to 1 looks big.
Yeah, a good case, and it was very impressive at Cheltenham. The only disappointing thing from me today is I forgot to check the sectionals of I wanted to know the times of how he quickened in the closing stages for that win, because he did impress me the way he just absolutely blitzed them last time. But yeah, I need to probably check up on that. But yeah, so 2-1 for Quentin. That is generally available as well, so that's not a problem in terms of cherry picking prices there. This is another race, chaps, that possibly could have been on the telly box. A nice race, 45,000 added. It's a good competitive race, I think, as well. Just referred to Mini Tonka, Quentin. I know what you're saying physically, but I also think that she's very straight legged, is Mini Tonka, and I just wonder if sort of be all right on the all weather. She ran 5th to Mischief Magic in the Cyrenia. I wouldn't discount her, especially getting the old weight from the males. That I think that might put her in with a chance, but I'm not being with confidence. But I know she is quite straight legged. I've noticed her action for a while now. I always said she wants fast ground on the flat, and they kept running her on sort of ground that was like either watered or over watered, and I don't know. Anyway, we come on to me then. Go on, let's come to me. Thanks for that, Quentin. I'm going back to Kelso again for my best bet, again on the telly box, and I'm very, very sweet on this, in fact more than sweet on it, and it's a good price. I did say Dan Skelton might have a big Saturday, and I'm going with Ho Jolie Smoke in the Premier Novices Hurdle. The reason why, I've got several. This horse, he's always said in trainer interviews, he's always like this one. He's a big horse physically. Won his point to point very well. Beat Mount Burnett of Francesca Nimmo, now Post, and McCavity was beaten a distance. I actually watched this on video, and Mount Burnett has since come out and won a bumper for Chris Gordon. McCavity is no mug. Has got an official rating of 110. Probably can't run to that, but when you get beat a distance, it doesn't really matter. But then you look at the 2 hurdling runs under rules, and this for me took my eye. The opener with Making Your Mind Up was ridden more negatively than Making Your Mind Up, made up eye-catching headway to get right with Making Your Mind Up, and he basically ended up sort of outstayed, if you like, but from a positional sense as well. Making Your Mind Up had the run of the race up front. When you consider that Making Your Mind Up is now rated 133, I don't think there's much between those two at all on that run, and that was his first run over in public. I thought it was a perfectly acceptable run. Shaped well. The reason being, not many horses at Chepstow dip under 40 seconds from the 4 pole to the 1 pole when the ground's softer than good. So again, time-wise, this horse can quicken. This has got serious gears. What's also eye-catching is the fact that Dan Skelton is running this in a Premier Hurdle when he could run in any handicap of 120. He's miles better than 120. You don't run under 40 seconds for 3 furlongs at Chepstow if you're 120. It's as simple as. So then last time, for me, it wasn't off a yard. It was weird. Put it this way, if you backed this last time, you'd be furious. You'd be saying, where's the effort from the saddle? There's no effort. Absolutely just cajoled, nudged, whatever you like, nudged along into third. It would have won the race for me with a ride. So then that puts you sort of like in Cribilli, Doyen Star territory, who had the run of the race. That's around 130. The front end of the market doesn't make sense to me because Nemean Lion, it's Tolworth form. It's a bit dodgy. It's okay, but it's not like totally rock solid. Ferranilli has won its point, ran in bumpers, not seen over hurdles yet. Look, it's competitive, but not that competitive to say this can be 12-1. Cannot be 12-1 in a month of Sundays. I'd price it about 4s. It's not really been tested yet or asked for anything. So I think this is 135. That puts it near the front end of the market. 1.5 points each way. at the 12-1 available with, I believe it's Paddy's and Betfair. So yeah, that's my max bet, and I'm very, very keen on it. Ho, Jolie, smoke. Andy Richmond.
Right, I'm going to try and hit the ball out the park with a little each way double.
Ooh.
We're going to Kelso first for the 150.
Yeah.
And a horse I've got a little bit of affection for, because I used to own a horse of the same name called Colonel Mustard, who actually managed to win on the all-weather at Wolverhampton once, though he didn't really like racing. But this is the infinitely better Colonel Mustard, who I think they've been teeing up for, shall we say, better end handicap hurdles with a couple of runs over jumps. If you look at his form last year, third in the county hurdle as a relative novice off 140, that form stacks up really well. The two chase runs this year, I don't think he's been particularly busy. I know he's got top weight here, but I do think he's got a really good chance in this. There's a lot of horses who could, like your dear Mark, who could really improve in this. There's a few others floating around here. Teddy Blue on his Betfair run, and of course you've got McTeague as well, who's the real fly in the ointment from Mr. Mullins. And in fact, if you're going to back, the sensible thing to do with McTeague, if you're going to back him, you're better off backing him for the Boodles, because he's top weight in that, so he won't get a penalty for that. They can't penalise him for that. And if he does go and gag up tomorrow, which I would imagine would be the plan to try and do so and land the £100,000 bonus for winning a race at Cheltenham, then the 14-1 with the Port Vale firm or the 12-1 with Hills, non-runner, no bet, looks a bit of a no-brainer. So there's one. I've actually backed that already, despite the fact I have backed Colonel Mustard in this particular race as well.
Yeah,
I do think he's got a good chance. There's 6 places available in some places and 5 in the other. And then the other one, I couldn't believe that some of the Sky Bet were offering 4 places. There might be a bit of cherry picking prices, so I'm happy to take this down to 3 places. But Castle Robin, thought, ran an excellent race last time out. The Grimthorpe isn't the greatest racers. I think we can all agree this year. The horse has got some very good course form as well. So it's not a great race. It's never been won. There's a lot of people putting up this top weight, or I saw a lot of people putting up top weight. Does he know? But the last Samurai, 11 stone 12, was the last horse to carry over 11 stone. Most of the recent winners have carried a fair less weight. I think Castle Robin won a 3-runner novices handicap chase here last year. He won a pretty competitive handicap at Sandown last month when he beat Phlegmatique, who ran a very good race last time out, just got beaten by Our Power. There's a few enigmas in the race. I'll probably include Under Supervision, who won it last year in that. Cooper's Cross. I thought he did well to win last time out. I'm not a great fan of the rider, I must admit. And he jumped a little bit right. I'm not sure he'll get away with it. And of course, you've got Sporting John, he's a total enigma, isn't he? It's probably a riddle wrapped up in something else. He's incredibly well handicapped, but you haven't really seen him raise a leg. So on that note, I'm going to go and have a little each way double on these two. I do think they've both got good chances. They've both got good chances of winning, but good chances of placing as well. Colonel Mustard, Castle Robin, 1.5 points each way double. I'm happy to take the 7-1 5 places and the 5-1 3 places that you can get generally available. But there are 6 places that if you can get on with Sky Bet, the 6-1 6 places Colonel Mustard and the 9-2 4 places with Castle Robin is well worth doing.
You shrewdy. Slamming in the lamb to try and steal the winter trophy. A disgrace. So yeah, Castle Robin and Colonel Mustard for Andy in the drawing room with the fucking rope. He's trying to have us all. He's trying to wrestle this Naps King back with a very shrewd each way.
This thing. I'll have to have a go at that flat stuff.
Yeah, you'll have to. Right, good stuff, Andy. Right, Jonas Lane finishes off.
I've got a 15 team of Kilmer there on the
Does it? If it's any Scottish Division 3 teams, John, no.
Have to rethink then. I was all over Race Rovers.
Right, go on, John, hit us.
Right, I mean, when I tip this, there's going to be regular listeners just saying, "Oh yeah, cunt." But I'm sorry, I'm still going to have to do it. It's a 3:35 at Kelso, and it's a horse I'm really familiar with, and that's Empire Stale of Big Sandy's.
Yeah.
With young Wrestle in the saddle.
Yeah.
I tipped this last time at Sandown, but I overlooked one major factor. Well, I didn't overlook it, I didn't spot it, to be honest. This bloody thing can't travel. He cannot travel.
Which one? Empire.
Yeah. The only times that he runs like a lump of shit is when he's away overnight.
Interesting.
And he's back at his proper stamping ground where he's won twice, I think, now.
So you reckon that rather than the ground, like, because obviously, like, his only wins have been on soft and heavy. But
he can't travel. He emptied out last time like a horse that hadn't been drinking well, and I think that's what's been happening.
Interesting. That's an interesting theory, because if that bears out, like you say, his only wins have been Carlisle, which is Scotland, Ayr, and Kelso.
And he's run well up there all the time. Then
Yeah.
The Broughton away entry, blowout.
Yeah. No. Well, look, we're all for theories. I mean, I'd have said ground personally, but you might be onto something. I mean, you know, he did run perfectly okay when second to Potterman at Kelso on good ground in the borders at Kelso. So yeah. No, it's interesting. Fair theory.
He's going to need a winner, isn't he? Young Wrestle. He's just got another ban, hasn't he?
Has he?
Yeah.
The new whip band. Oh, we love this.
A few more today. They've gone back and had a look at him. He got done for one in the novice hurdle at February 25th of February.
Cheltenham.
Yeah, no, he's Friday. He is out of your. But if he had a ride in the Gold Cup, he wouldn't be getting it. But Friday the 17th to Friday the 24th for 1 over.
I'm sorry, but this game's run by morons. But more on that on Sunday.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
He got a week.
He got a week.
Yeah,
he got a week. Yeah,
but 1 over, fucking hell.
Yeah.
There were 3 new ones announced this afternoon. Alan John's got 4 days for once above the permitted level from above the third last. That was on Twilight Glory. Richard Patrick, rider of the Winner Eaton Kalina, he was 1 over the permitted level of 7. Oh, did hit and in the incorrect place. He got 8 days, and Wrestle got 7 days for 1 over from the on that race in leading force. The horse was.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to get on Sunday, because I'm going to smack the living shit out of this on Sunday show.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to save this for Sunday because it's we're boiling. So, right, John, are you 3 on the nose? 32. 3 on the nose. 32 Empire Steel to win the Premier Chase there up at Kelso. John says it's all about travelling. He doesn't want to get in a horse box, that lad. Not for too long, anyway. So, right, that completes. Yeah. So that completes the best bet round. We go on to the television race coverage, and I'm sure Quentin's got lots to say on the jumps action tomorrow.
Yeah, a bit.
Oh, good. Come on then. It's 1:15 Kelso.
1:15 Kelso.
This is the novice limited handicap chase. Yeah.
No, favourite looks.
John, no.
Favourite looks short enough for what he's achieved in my eye. I know you said Skelton could have a good day, but what's he gone up 11 for winning an egg and spoon race at Lingfield? Weak enough heat there. Kind of feel he's been over more style over substance. One that caught my eye was the second in Bill Baxter, going well, trading I think 4 to 5, give or take. When he jumped perfectly fine at Hereford, and the ground was chewed up on the landing side, and he just kind of stumbled and fell. But yeah, a soft fall with anything. Previous form looks fine. Goes round here. Thought he'll be slightly shorter than 7 to 2. A race I want to be against a favourite in.
Interesting. I thought, Castle Russian's definitely on my list to back this season, especially over 3 miles, but they've dropped him back in trip, and it's quicker ground. And I think he wants 3 miles, and I think he wants soft ground. And I think that's the two. So I won't be backing him tomorrow, but he's still on my radar for the time when he gets.
That form with O'Toole's all right, isn't it?
It is. I looked at the O'Toole form, John, and then last time out he would have won, but front seating the rider for me. Brian Hughes, useless, decked him. And to be honest, I prefer Sean Quinlan to Brian Hughes in the saddle.
I think the horse wants somebody that will get hold of him a bit more.
Yeah, but it just disappointed me that Kelso's probably going to ride sort of yielding tomorrow, and back in trip as well. I'm sort of less keen to go in, but he's on my radar to be back in. Andy, any thoughts in this?
I would have thought I sort of echo what Quentin said about Sherlock Jack. Not sure I'd be laying him, but the £11 for winning what was a pretty easy race at Lingfield last time out. Bill Baxter, it was a bit of a strange fall last time out. It seemed to come down about 3 strides after the fence, and his previous form stacks up quite well. If I was going to have a bet in the race, the value or the perceived value, let's call it that, probably lies with Bill Baxter. Like you, Castle Rushing, I think he probably needs stepping up in trip. He's 2 unseats in the last 3 doesn't give you a particularly warm and comfortable feeling, though, especially as they might be going a stride quicker than he wants to round here. But again,
yeah, I saw him as a big stayer, really, sort of like real stayer, like 3.2, 3.6, 3.5, 4 miler. That's what I saw his future as. So I'm a bit disappointed to see him step back in trip, so I won't be supporting. Okay, we'll go on to the Morebattle then. Andy's had a play here in Colonel Mustard. I've had a play with Dear Mark. Interested to see what Quentin and John think to this.
I was with you with Dear Mark. I know you put him up last time out and winning at Kempton. I kind of actually think that just the way he goes through his race, I actually think better ground's going to suit him more.
Yes, I think that.
Not fast ground, but just something better than it was deep ground at Kempton that day. So the way he travels, I think this £6 for that. Like he looked better than a 125 horse, didn't he? And as you said, you're going to have to be better than a 125 horse to win this. He was the one on my list here. The other one that was semi-interesting was Luttrell Lad. At a price, I wouldn't be playing him now, but stable switch from Hobbs to Lacey's a positive with Bowen on top at, I think he's about 20s on the machine, give or take.
Yeah, that is interesting because I think Hobbs is dead. I'd be interested to see other runners coming out of there that seem to be doing so at the moment. But Luttrell Lad, that's a stable switch for Quentin that you've marked up as interesting. Jonas?
Nah.
So Andy, obviously you like Colonel Mustard, but
yeah,
you've made your case for that, plain and simple. But it's a good race, really. I thought McTeague off 142. I might be wrong here because Emmett Mullins is a master at doing this and making mincemeat of what anyone says. But I didn't think physically he was anything to shout about. I've looked at it. I watched the France Gallup runs when he beat Saint Donat's that's in the Triumph, and fair enough, it is good form that. But then he got slammed by Saint Donat's next time. But he went round the inside. Maybe the ground was better wide. I don't know. But he doesn't look much physically to me. He doesn't look
if he does win this, you know how the market's going to react.
I get you.
That's the whole thinking behind that. Because if he goes and wins this tomorrow easily, he's going to be what for the Boodles? 5, 6s, something around there.
Totally agree. Yeah.
So it's just and if he doesn't win, I mean, if they run him, you can decide what you want to do. You might have to take a small loss, laying him on the exchanges, whatever. Just suck it and see. You wouldn't rule him out getting beaten here and then going and winning that, would you? Something with Mullins.
No.
But and they've got other options actually. Because he's actually in the Martin Pipe as well, and he's in the Triumph still.
Yeah, they clearly think a bit about. I'm going to respect him. It's certainly not a lay. I just like to see something physical, really, and it doesn't look much. But
the other interest is the Skelton horse. Don't think we've seen the best of that yet.
The Skelton. Oh, Lord de Sud. Yeah, it's another travelly thing, isn't it? Travelly wavelly.
Sort of. Yeah, you wouldn't. I mean, it is a good race. It would be for the cash. But I think Colonel Mustard You know, look at his form as a body of work is pretty decent, and I think they've brought him back over hurdles, which is quite interesting. There's a few others in here. Clear White Light's been an improving horse. I think he probably wouldn't be up to this. And as I say, Lateral Lad is interesting. Tom Lacey's actually got a very good record with his horses who run second time in handicap hurdles for him. 17 to 79. Sort of wax figure of 4, and if you'd have backed them all, you'd be 29 points up. So you wouldn't write him off. But for the cash, it's going to be a decent race, isn't it?
Love that wax figure. Winners above expectation.
Yeah, you know where I'm going, because everyone who sit there and quote strike rates, and they just you might as well throw them in the bin as a statistical measure. Look at you need to look at the winners above expected. You should be looking at percentage runners beaten figures and A over E figures as well. That's what you should be looking at when you do these. It's like one of the things at the moment. Apparently, according to Timeform, Alan King is in form at the moment. Well, if you look at his winners above expected figure, it's actually below. So I'm not quite sure how they work that one out.
Exactly. Right, come on to the Premier Novice Hurdle, where I've tipped in this, so I'll stay quiet. I'll sit on my hands and leave it to you three. I'm coming to Quentin first. Quentin, any view on this?
I was rolling with you, Lee. I was looking for the race halfway afternoon. I kind of saw it drifted out Holy Smoke. It was kind of like 8-1, and I looked around again, it was 12. You just like the way it shaped last time out. Like, as you said, it wasn't off. Speed test patently didn't suit. The Evan Williams horse has some decent form to its name, but I'd probably like to see this race over slightly further. But I think price compensates for that. 12 double figures is big. I didn't do a whole tissue on the race, but it was kind of the horse I was going to give a shout at 8-1. So that would kind of suggest I make him 11-2-5, something like that.
Good stuff.
He's one for me.
Like it when you agree, Jonas.
I like Accidental Rebel. Made great strides since joining the Up and Atom Fergal O'Brien team from Dracula's. Old enough for a novice hurdler, 9-year-old, but has achieved his mark by running in handicap hurdles. A lot of these have been given marks based on novice hurdle form, which can be a bit guessy.
Yeah.
So I think he's solid for his mark. And I think 14-1 is a big price because he's quite quick. And I think this track will suit, and I think the way the race is run will be to suit him. And I think he'll definitely trade a lot shorter in running. But I think 14 is good.
Yeah, Fergal says about that horse that he's a good ground horse, so they don't want to see any rain if you are playing John's Choice Accidental Rebel, which they have not much forecast, so he'd be surprised if there is rain, so ground should be okay for John's Choice and Accidental Rebel. Good shout, John. Andy?
I thought the front end of the market was a little bit weak, to be honest with you. I wasn't sold on Nemi and Lion at around 7-2. Ferranilli, Marlins, you don't quite know which way that's going in the market. I quite like your choice of Holy Smoke. I thought it was, if anything, he was overpriced. I couldn't quite make him as short as you did, but I'd probably had him around sort of a 6-1 chance. And the other interesting one was Karachi Castle. Thought he was quite interesting as well. And if you wanted a real flyer, Banjax, his form isn't too bad either. He could just be coming over to keep his stablemate Colonel Mustard company, but his form isn't that bad. He's probably again one of the other ones I thought was overpriced. It's a good race, but it's an awkward race to play in. But if I had a couple of stabs at the prices, I'd probably go Karachi Castle and Holy Smoke.
Good shout, Sandy. 3 o'clock then to finish Kelso off. Oh, no, it's not to finish Kelso off. No, it goes on like an omnibus of EastEnders. The 3 o'clock at Kelso. So I've tipped Santos Blue. Andy was sort of keen on Santos Blue as well. Yeah. Didn't quite make his list. No. So to save time, because we're looking on time per se, I'm just going to go Quentin and Johnny here to look at this race. Quentin?
Absolutely nothing.
Love that. John?
I've got less than Quentin.
Andy, any stats to add on this race or anything else?
No, not really. I'd say Santos Blue I quite like. Price is a little bit shorter than I would have wanted, but no, nothing really to add. Although I did notice that Mr. Calvin in his preview had put up an Enemy Coast Ahead and made quite a good made quite a good case for it. I think it was around 40s, and it's now half the price. So
it's easy on a Thursday.
Moving the market there.
Yeah. Let's hope that's tailed off for the thumb. Right, 335, 335 Kelso is the Premier Chase. 60 bags on offer. I mean, where's Sadiq when you need him? Like, come on, Sadiq, you're very quiet at the moment. I mean, what makes me laugh about this race is
the other day.
Yeah, I mean, like look at the payouts here for paying like the fifth, and so Zanza's an on runner. There's only 4 going. Come on, Sadiq, you are losing your grip on entering in these to mop up some prize money. But yeah, anyway, so Lemailos is 11.08 favourite. The good old Hennessy winner being given time to recover from his exertions in that. The shunter who made me brown some chums once at Aintree after hitting 6 fences. It was one of my biggest in-running lays ever, and still nearly managed to beat Protector at 8th of April 2021. I absolutely striped it. It must have hit 47 fences, even though there were 7 in the race. And honestly, I cannot describe my feelings as that's coming to the last, and it belted that as well. And finished second. The carrots in that day must have been immense. Will the carrots be in tomorrow, Andy Richmond?
Well, I don't. Do they want to win this?
Well,
it's got no entries. It's got no entries. Well, they might want to win it, but no entries. It's got no. I mean, it won the Morebattle on this card 2 years ago, didn't it?
Yep.
Landed the bonus, won the plate at Cheltenham. But is he trying this in the Grand National this time?
Yes, he's in it. He's in it. He'll get in it. And the same with Lemailos. I reckon this is a sort of a Grand National trial, if you like, for those two. I'm not sure how wound up either will be.
Well, that's what John makes John's case for Empire Steel does make an awful lot of sense. He's a 2-time course winner, including a defeat of your aforementioned Protectorat. And it might be that the fact that he is, John makes a good case of him not travelling. Maybe he doesn't like the water down south. There's nothing. I mean, I put him up last time as well.
Yeah.
Really well, and then just, stopped basically. I mean, you'd have worse bets at sort of 7-8 to 1, wouldn't you? Against 2 horses who might not be fully wound up, might be good enough to win it. I could see old Wishing and Hoping, who loves the front run, going off and trying to run the finish out of this lot. And no mug.
13 though. It'd be astonishing if he
13, but it would be, but how wound up are Lemailos and the shunter and Empire Steel? If you wanted to take on Lemailos and the shunter, the right way to do it is to back Empire and Hoping and Dutch the pair.
Yeah. Quentin?
I agree with Andy. Like, why do you want to pick up a penalty for essentially winning this? You both pick up a penalty. You don't in the
National, though. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't
pick up a penalty?
No.
Ooh, okay, no. So that changes it then.
After the weights, no penalties.
Yeah. No pace in the race, which is obviously a concern. You can see Wishing and Hoping going forward. You'll probably get a trade out of that, to be honest. Fitness-wise, fine. The shunter and Lemailos, it will be used to bring them on. Probably a small trade of Wishing and Hoping.
Yes, as he should make them all go from probably the front, etc. So yeah, that's I'm surprised that John hadn't come up with that angle. He loves that. John loves the B to L angle. He does. It's the only reason he doesn't like the kilt, but he uses the kilt for his own ends. On the flat, all that to come, John, at Beverley this season. You're looking forward to that.
Well, as long as young Charles doesn't change tactics, so
he might go like Simcock. They might have had a meeting at Tattersalls, and Simcock said, "Well, you get more life out of them if you hold them up."
Simcock's
and it's the curveball for everyone this season. They start holding them all up. Anyway, right, 210 Newbury we go to now. Change of meeting. Dar Giannini is Andy's tip for the nepotism yard. What JBY is a complete pig. Alan King Kong not in the best of form. Pylon, Christian Williams in better form now. Pylon's a bit hangy though these days. I don't like Bold Plan very much either. It's a really bad eat this. I know why Andy's tipped this because I'm struggling. Like I'm going down the list. I'm going, Quentin, John, try and give something against Andy here. Have we got anything?
No.
No. Quentin?
Yeah, nothing. Like, it's just a horrible heat, isn't it? I couldn't find anything that I could kind of, if the ground was deep ground and stimulating, song would kind of be of interest, but I think the ground would be too quick. Maybe one for the notebook for people. Now he's had his wind done. He's better than a mark of 117 unless he's totally gone at the game. Cobden's a positive booking, but I just think the ground would be too sharp. But one to maybe look out for when it rains.
Yep. No, I'm with Andy on this, I'm afraid. Yep, it's the same. So 2:45 then, the Greatwood Gold Cup. That fucking thing, Zanza. I mean, look at the times I put this up last season, John. Kept backing it. 144, 145. No good. It's off 158. It's shit on it, man. 7 lengths in a Grade 2 last time.
But didn't that race just collapse, didn't it?
He did.
Look where he's been running it this year. I mean, we were fancying it round Cheltenham and that, and Cheltenham nearly ruined the fucking house, didn't it? Let's be fair. And then he's took it to places where there's nice long runs in, Weatherby, Newbury. Look at the difference.
Well, over fences at Newbury, it's 3 from 3. In fact, it's 5 from 6 at Newbury, but it's 3 from 3. It's won by 5.5, 12, and 7
Yeah.
But does that just say the trainer's an idiot?
Yeah, exactly.
It either says the trainer's an idiot or he's a fair bet for the fucking lockage.
Zanza turns up in the lockage. Tremendous. So Newbury's his thing is Zanza, so you got to respect that. This is quite an exposed sort of race in terms of ratings. There's nothing really well in here. Do we agree with that, chaps?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Zanza, I want to be against him. Time suggests it was firm ground at Newbury. He's been absolutely hammered by the handicapper for that. 158, I don't think despite his course record, I don't think he can win off of that mark. The one I will go with has a similar sort of profile, like he loves Newbury, Paint the Dream. Absolutely nothing wrong with his form this season. Shaped like he'll come on for the run last time out. He'll go off shorter than 2-1. Yeah,
good stuff. Okay. Andy, anything to add to that?
Well, I agree with Quentin there. I mean, it's the the Newbury factor is being overplayed on Zanza, and I don't think everyone's ignored Paint the Dream's record in this as well. He won this by 15 lengths last year.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, he's and they ducked a couple of races with him as well to run him in this. Good yard. I'd be interested to see how Gemiron runs and Espoir de Guy as well. Now he's had his wind done, hasn't he? Lord Baddesley wouldn't ride. It's a bit of a bugger's mother. In fact, despite Zanza's record, you could say he's actually probably underpriced given the opposition in this. But I'd say it wouldn't be a race I'd be having a bet in, to be honest with you.
So that means the dugout for Andy, Pate and Malt during.
Yeah. Cup of tea at the moment. I'm off the booze. I'm off the booze at the moment. I'm off food as well at the moment.
Oh no!
It's got me on a tight. Mrs. R's got me on a tight leash at the moment.
Yeah, you can tell you're a Londoner. Up north we love gravy, tatties, beef, and
I like gravy.
Gin and
I love gravy on the ship, but I'm just not allowed them at the moment, Lee.
Yeah,
that carried too much condition, I think, is the
Well, this is it. Yeah, we soon when you sit at home and bet, everyone will understand that. We tend to expand. The 130 at Doncaster. We go up north. It's never grim up north. It's cheaper up north. You Southerners, you're idiots. You pay ridiculous prices for absolute rammel. We have the value up here, and we start off at Doncaster there for the Virgin bet, money back what's all that bull? I'm not even repeating that. Anyway, 15-8 favourite Calico, 3-1 pay the piper for the champion trainer of the North and Hamilton. Thoughts here? Anyone? Chime in.
Calico.
There's
an echo.
Yes.
After you, John, I think it was.
Well, I just think he's ideal type for this. He travels good, travels throat, got decent form in the tank. The price is maybe a shade on the skinny side. You might prefer 5 to 2, 11 to 4, but I don't see why I wouldn't win this.
Yeah, no, I'd go with that. Quentin, are you the same reasons?
Yeah, echoing that. Kind of think the handicapper could have been harsher for the John Bond run. He only went up £1 for that. Bridget Andrews downgrade on Harry Skelton, but there's absolutely no pace in the race as well tomorrow. Solo up front. Looks good to me.
Andy?
Yeah, if there's a slight criticism of Calico, it can be that he can be a little bit free, but if he gets a free run up front here, couldn't see too many of these beating him. Excitations generally runs his race, but you wouldn't see. I'd like to see Pay the Piper win, because I think this is probably his best way of going this way round as well. There's not much between those two. Didn't see a lot of value in the race if pushed Calico, but without any confidence.
Good stuff. Right, we're coming to the final race of the day, which is aptly named for the national season of 22-23, the Grimthorpe. Jonas, have you got something for me here?
Well, I think Silly Pobbs will probably win it, seeing as how he said he's shit tonight.
This is where Philly Pobbs as a treble or a 4-timer tomorrow. You know it. You just know it. I know. Sporting John, he's the Andy's tipped Castle Robin. And he's like 15 football team hacker, and them old Saturdays when you were younger were great, weren't it? You used to do Union Jacks, big football coupons full of 1s, 2s, 3 from each section. That was Quentin. 3 from each section.
Yes. The £1 million one. William Hill.
Yeah, always running onto a Sunday, Celtic and someone else, and I don't know.
Gretna at 12s on.
The old section, that used to be it, didn't it?
Yeah. For sure. So Sporting John was mentioned by Andy as sort of like a bit of an enigma. Second off the wind up, blinkers first time. Could that, Quentin, any of you?
I like the one that Andy didn't like. Does he know? That was fairly confident. He didn't really move that well on firm ground last time out at Newbury. Form looks solid enough at Cheltenham. I think the second and third have both come out and won races since. I thought he'd kind of be favourite in the field. Sporting John looks dead, to be honest. I know it's well handicapped on back form and the blinkers have gone on, but he just looks like one that's just genuinely gone at the game. That was the long and short of it. Does he know? I thought was fairly solid despite carrying 12 stone.
Yep. I mean, does he know slammed under supervision back in 2021? I know we're going back a long way. Gave him 8, but under supervision now is getting what, 14, 25 pounds off him. I mean, this is like kind of a lot of weight for a horse that won this race last year off the same mark. It beat one of Richard Bandy's and broke my heart. I backed Mr. Malarkey for the lot. Under supervision nailed me on the running. And the rest was history. I was crying. It was disgraceful. But that's my luck. I have a big bet on something, and there's always something to do with me. And this horse just did that last season. So under supervision for me to repeat the dose off an absolute featherweight, 10 stone 3, like it's absolutely carrying nothing. That would be my choice against Quentin's Does He Know and Andy's Castle Robin and John's saying that I'm a Bock. And Tilly Pobbs will win with Sporting John. Right.
Pobbs can only have a treble tomorrow because he's only got 3 runners out.
And he will do. And you know he will.
Treble.
And you know he will. Yeah, Zanza will win. That'll win. And then everyone's calling me an idiot.
Go on.
Yeah.
Undeni at Newbury in the 210. So if you want your Hobbs treble, there it is.
We've set it up. Right, we hope you enjoyed us back. We're back on Sunday with the usual absolute baloney and balls. But we're going to be ranting on Sunday, so don't miss the show because we've got a lot to talk about since our winter break. So Sunday sermon on Sunday. We hope you've enjoyed tonight with me, Andy, Quentin and John with some superb analysis, I thought, this evening. That's all from us. Bye for now.